On today's video episode, I don't know what I'm going to call it, we're going to do something a little different. This time, instead of typical RX-7 stuff, which I know you guys are not sick of, and neither am I get a lot of requests that want to know about this yellow car. So we're going to talk about it. Today's video is about my 1995 Ferrari 348 Spider. So the banner hanging up in my garage is for a reason. I have an actual Ferrari. A lot of people say it's the poor man's Ferrari, or whatever you want to call it. Ferrari, the ugliest Ferrari, I don't know. To me, it's a different scenario. This car to me represents a completely different time. This is mid to late 90s, which is when I was in high school, and I remember specifically seeing these cars when they were brand new and saying, man, that thing is cool. It's got these awesome side strakes along the side. It's like, you know, Miami Vice, just pure 90s Pininfarina design. And this was obviously iconic of that time frame. And this is the end of the analog era as far as Ferraris and most cars for that matter. They all started to change into a more digital age. You started to get digital clusters and throttles, and ABS and all kinds of crazy stuff started popping up with advanced features and traction control and blah, 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 you name it. And this car, along with this car, which is right next to it, these two cars existed in a very similar time period, and they existed at the same time, brand new. So a really cool comparo going from Japanese sports car to Italian. These cars are a flat plane crank V8, 3.4 liters, and let me tell you, they rev like no other. This thing has no trouble seeing 8,000 RPM, where a typical push rod cross plane crank motor usually doesn't get up there. So really cool. If you look at like the new Mustang GT, the Shelby GT350, those motors, they're flat plane crank also. They rev super high. So it's kind of like a similar situation. Now, this car in particular, I've done only two things to it, so I'm going to illustrate those. This has the magnesium speedline champion, or what do they call them? Challenge wheels, I'm sorry. Challenge wheels. These are the challenge wheels from the Ferrari Challenge, and they're like a race wheel basically. It only came with the Challenge cars. So really rare wheels. You're not going to find these. If you do, they're going to be really expensive. But I decided they fit the car. I like it. When I got the car, it didn't have the original wheels, so I decided to at least put a Ferrari wheel. These are genuine. I just had them coated, so they're just a powder coated Speedline Challenge wheel. So that, and then the exhaust. We've got a custom exhaust that was built for this car by RareFab, and it utilizes a merge system. Let me see here, I can open this up, show it to you. It utilizes a merge basically that brings the two sides together. Of course, you're not going to be able to see it from here. Maybe from the bottom I can look, but it gets rid of the catalytic converters. And let's see here. You can kind of see it there. Kinda. Anyway, it's a merge system. Comes together right here as a Y, and it sounds crazy. That's the first thing that most people notice about this car. It doesn't sound like a typical 348. Most of the Ferraris have kind of like a muted sound to them until you open them up, and they usually don't have a real high-pitched sound. This one does, and it's because of that exhaust. So that And then somebody before me switched out this back lights to a like flat panel, which I kind of actually like. I'm a big fan of round lights, but easily reversed. Could put the stock lights back on. I just never do because I like it. So anyway, I'm gonna start it up now and you can get an idea of what we're working with. This is cold start. We're gonna let her warm up before we take her out. The interior, we got this gated shifter, which is iconic again. And honestly, if you have a Ferrari without this, you've got a new Ferrari, clearly. They stopped doing these, right? I think the 360 or the 430 might have been the last one. But gated shifter is iconic Ferrari, so here we go. That's a cold start, so we're gonna let her warm up, but even in here you can hear it. It's pretty loud. Love this sound. So we'll let her warm up and then we'll take her for a little spin and give you an idea of what it's like. There's no power steering on this car. It is, like I said, a real analog vehicle and just a completely different experience if you're not used to these old school type cars. Alright, so now we're all warmed up. I'm gonna take her for a little spin. You can see the gated shifter is like a real noisy and clanky thing. It's like real metallic. But that's what I love about these cars. So definitely not a problem in my opinion. Oh, we got a fire truck. A whole bunch of fire trucks. Alright, well, let them go. We won't go that way. Alright. Now we're gonna just take for a little spin here in this room. You can just hear that flat plane crank V8 just coming up to its production range. It just has a completely different sound all on its own. And you know, the suspension on these cars, really comfortable, but really, really solid too. It's compliant, but it's direct, which I love. Steering's real heavy because it's, like I said, no power steering. Transmission is real notchy, but that's the way they work. And the sound though, huh? Like nothing else. Just a completely unique experience. That's why I love this car. It's just much different than anything else. Now that we've woken up all the neighbors, let's go put it back. So there it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. My little mini review of my Ferrari 348 Spider. These are, again, a pretty different car. Pretty iconic for its time period and age. Very rare, actually. They only made 1,050 of the Spiders. So, and that's across all the years of the 348. So this is basically one of 1,000. I don't know how many are left, but there can't be that many. They were not very highly regarded in their time, so people really didn't take care of these as much as they took care of, you know, an F40 or a Testarossa or something like that. So these cars were typically the workhorses, and they got worn out. So pretty cool to have one. It's a special car in my opinion, and in case anybody's wondering, Ferrari yellow is the fastest color. It's a proven fact. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to see some more of my stuff, obviously we've got more cars that we can play around with, but this is a pretty special one for me. So there you go. Oh, damn. I don't think I showed under the hood. Let's show under the hood while we're here. This is a relaxed Sunday review. There we go. There's under the hood. Nothing too impressive. Just a manifold and some red valve covers as usual. Classic Ferrari. So, just a cool car all around. These are dry sump oil. Real high revving, as you can tell. Fun car. Alright, that's it. I won't bother you guys anymore. Hope you enjoyed it.